Okay, yesterday we learned that in the Torah there are three aspects of the Torah, three benefits, you want to call it, of the Torah. Three things that the Torah does. On one hand, it awakens Jewish identity, with that's like the clouds of glory which surrounded the Jewish people in the merit of Aaron. Aaron said he loved all the Jews equally. That surrounded them. Therefore, in his merit were these clouds that surrounded the Jewish people and protected them. Says the Rebbe, the Torah has the same aspect also. The Torah arouses the essence of every Jew, the self-sacrifice of every Jew, the identity of the Jews, and this is what has been protecting them through all the generations, keeping them Jewish, keeping Judaism going. Also, the Torah has in it bread, nourishment. Torah nourishes the Jewish soul, gives us faith. That's different according to each person. That's like the food of the Torah. That's like the manna. The manna that came down, that was in the merit of Moses. That's the inner aspect of the Torah that changes our personality. So there's the clouds, that's the self-sacrifice. That's equal by every Jew. Then there's the personality, Jewish personality, faith, understanding. That's different by every Jew. That's like the manna. And then there's the fact that these two aspects are distributed through all the Jewish people. That's the water of the Torah. The aspect of the Torah goes down to the lowest levels. Right? We can see even in the Ten Commandments, the essence of God was revealed. What does God say? Don't kill. In other words, God was speaking to murderers or potential murderers. That's like the water of the Torah. That it distributes this faith and this self-sacrifice from the highest of great leaders of the Jews to the most simple Jews. The people don't even know that they're Jewish. So it says that Moses and that Aaron and Miriam, when they died, as the clouds went away and they were attacked, it says, by Amalek. Remember, we learned about that yesterday at 3:00. And when Miriam died first. When Miriam died, there went away the water, the well. But miraculously, they both came back. How did they come back? So it says, in the merit of Moses. So that's where we are now. Dermid, with this, Vetman, we can understand the sheikhos from Man to Moses. We can understand the connection of the manna to Moses. From Aneni Kavod, the clouds of glory, to Aaron, and the bear to Miriam. We did this already. We're in the next step. He said Moses, he was like the shepherd, right? Remember we said Moses said was shepherd. Like he said that he was chosen to be the shepherd because he separated the sheep. He gave the little sheep, he took them to soft grass, and the bigger sheep, he took the bigger grasses. And Aaron, he loved everybody, so he embraced them. So that's the idea of the clouds. And Miriam, she gave birth to the Jewish people, and that distributed. In other words, she distributed this Judaism to everybody. She gave birth to everybody, the greatest of the great, the smallest of the small. Remember, we learned that yesterday. 1 minute. Yeah, okay. Kish and Nistalku Aaron, Miriam. When Aaron and Miriam passed away, Nistalku and Nikavo, they all left these clouds of glory and the well, the Chazru, but it came back in the merit of Moses. From this is Mukhrach, we must say, as Moshe hat eingehoben, that Moses began Tananaya Avoda. Moses must have done something new. Up to now, Aaron's job, in the merit of Aaron came the clouds, and the merit of Miriam came the water, and the merit of Moses came the food. Everybody had their own job. Came the manna. As soon as the other two died, as suddenly it came back, the clouds and the water went away, and they came back in the merit of Moses. So why were they there in the merit of Moses in the beginning? What did you have to have Aaron and Miriam? So we must say that beforehand, that Moses only did his job of teaching the Jewish people, right? Each one according to his ability. As soon as the other two died, as he had to take on a new type of a service in addition. Hagam Azain Inyan Mitzad Atzmo is given Tiavoda from Roa, even though the Moses' real job was to be a shepherd, to shepherd the Jewish people. Hadi Naya Avoda Gebrach Tzurik, this new whatever the new thing he did, this somehow or other brought back the clouds and the well. Now, let me just interject something, because this might sort of become a little bit sort of, you see, removed from reality. You know, a person might say, what do I care what happened back then with the clouds, with this? We have to remember, and it's very important to remember that the whole world depends on the Jewish people. That's what we believe. The whole world depends on the Jewish people. It seems like a pretty weird thing to say. I mean, how many Jews are there? You know, compared to the rest of the world, it's like the Jews are like 0.2% or something like that of the world population. And why the world depends on the Jews? I mean, there's some really sort of not nice Jews in the world. There, what are the Jews got something special? The world depends on the Jews. Well, first of all, we see that, even though it's a weird thing to say, but we see the Jews strangely are always around. You know, everybody tries to hate them. Number one, number two, people hate the Jews. There's some crazy, I mean, that's the reason I became religious. People hate the Jews. You know, so we see that even by seemingly normal and talented people, somehow or other, Jews are bad, right? And you say that a Jew is bad, it's accepted, it's okay, no problem. You know, stand up and say the Jews are not bad. Oh, everybody says all right. You know, maybe they make a little bit of noise or something like that, but no. Why is it so? Here the Jews are like everywhere, and the Jews are seemingly eternal. And Jews, even though the Jews try to leave Judaism, but there's still always this core of Jews that believe in this, very strange religion that doesn't really talk that much about going to heaven or something. It has all these really, how do you say, picayune commandments that you've got to do, and they got to be exactly this way and that way. And the Jews have been doing it for like 3,000 years. This must be either the most gullible people in the world. I mean, they really believe this stuff 3,000 years, and there's enemies from all sides, telling them that this is wrong, and that the Torah has been lost, and that it's been changed, and this. And nevertheless, here are these Jews still, they put on tefillin, and one letter in your tefillin is wrong. You paid $1,000, but no, it's no good. A Sefer Torah, you paid $30,000. One letter is wrong. The whole thing is no good. Come on, people really believe this. And there's all these Jews that say, come on, let's go a little bit lenient. Come on, we'll make Reform Jews and conservative Jews and Reconstruction Jews. You don't have to take the law so exactly. And they got a good point. They have a good point. What is it that keeps Judaism going for so long? I mean, the motivation is not to go to heaven, not to go to heaven. The motivation is, you want to go to heaven, but that's not the motivation. That's not certainly what keeps Jews going after the Holocaust. We're going to go to heaven. So what is exactly that keeps the Jews going, and why are they here? So it says, look at the fact. The fact is, the Jews are necessary for the world. Even if there's one Jew, because the Jews are the only ones really doing what the creator of the universe wants. The only ones. All the others claim to do it, and they have they're more in number, and they're more in success, and they're more in money, and they're more in this and that. But the fact of the matter is, it's all a big lie. All of the religions in the world are just big, huge lies. Listen, it could be very beneficial for people. The people are not going to be punished because they innocently believed they were doing good and they were believing in these different religions. But the fact of the matter is, forgetting about rewards and punishments, everybody's going to go to heaven, everybody are wonderful. Let's forget about all that. Let's talk about what's true. The Jewish people are the only ones that can do exactly what God wants. It's the only religion that even claims that God spoke to them. And that's what we learned in the previous, in the Maimon we just finished learning. The reason the Jews are here is in order to transform the bad and the darkness and the suffering and the ignorance and the selfishness and all the terrible things in this world to transform it to good by revealing the Creator here. And the Jews are the only ones doing what the Creator wants. The only ones. God spoke to them. Everyone saw it. No other religion even claims such a thing. Now the Rebbe is saying even more that the purpose of the Jewish people is to benefit the whole entire world. And the way they do it is through the Torah. The way they do it is through the Torah. You can't fix up anything if you don't have an instruction book. You have to have the... You want to operate on a person and help a person, you have to know anatomy. You have to know something. You can't just have goodwill. So we want to fix the world. That's the purpose of the Jewish people. Says the Rebbe, the Torah. The Torah has three aspects to it. One aspect is that it keeps the Jewish people together. That's the self-sacrifice of the Jews. You learn the Torah, it increases your self-sacrifice. Another one is the faith of the Jews. That you learn Torah, the knowledge of the Jews, the faith. Mind, that's Moses. Education. The third one is that the Torah is applicable to every Jew, from the highest to the lowest. That's Miriam. That's the water. Says the Rebbe that when Miriam and Aaron went away, as the Jews needed these other two aspects, Moses brought it back. This shows that Moses started a new type of a service. That's what brought back these. Now, in our generation, who is the Moses? The Moses is the Lubavitcher Rebbe. But what I just finished saying are a lot of things that are very, very difficult to understand or comprehend, and this is also difficult to understand, but that's the fact. Every Jew, every generation has to have one leader that his only goal is to do this new type of service that Moses did, to encompass all the Jews, activate the Jews, and to, how do you say, make every Jew, activating the Jews, that's like Moses. That to give the Jews their identity, that's Aaron. That the Jews should be everywhere, have an effect on everything, that's Miriam. That's the water. Moses took all these jobs together. The emes Simon, the true sign of a Jewish shepherd, of the leader and shepherd of the Jewish people, is as our tut nit nor the avod. He doesn't just do what he's relevant to him, be'etzim, nor but b'shas as is muchrach, when he has to and he needs it, as farbait he changes oiv zich, he changes himself. Leicht avek, he puts away his nature. When Moser nefesh tzolibin, he gives himself over to the other Jews. Moses, take the example. Let's take the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Take the Lubavitcher Rebbe. I don't know if there was ever such a mind as it could be that there was, but a mind as Lubavitcher Rebbe. I mean, the Lubavitcher Rebbe literally, if you read the books, I mean, you have to read what he wrote. Tens, hundreds. You read the deepest ideas, and he brings sources for everything. The man literally knew every book of Judaism by heart, and not only Judaism, also science and mathematics and this. But let's forget about all this. The Rebbe was great in Torah. He knew all of the explanations, all the commentaries on all the books, knew everything. You think it's impossible? Look at his books. Not only that, not only in the Talmud and the Yerushalmi and the laws, also Kabbalah, all these different books in Kabbalah and different books and knew everything. That was the Rebbe's thing. The Rebbe was a tremendous, incredible scholar. You love to read, you love to understand, you love to talk about Torah. Torah, that's the whole thing of the Rebbe. But when it comes to saving Jews, as he puts that of service aside, and he takes on the service of Aaron also to surround and embrace all the Jews, and the service of Miriam also, in other words, to provide for every single Jew, from the highest to the lowest. B'shas men darf makarav zayin a Liban. When it comes to makar of the hearts of a Jewish person, of the Jewish people, oich even the lowest of lowest Jews, when you have to try to make them come close to Hashem, done farbeget deroa, then the shepherd of the Jewish people, he changes his ways. Unlearned mit Yidden Aleph base. And instead of learning these tremendously deep Kabbalistic ideas or Torah, Talmud explanations, he learns with a simple Jew Aleph base. See, Aleph base from Torah, whether the Aleph base of Torah and mitzvahs, or Aleph base to Kibshuto, whether it's talking about the simplest thing, put on how to put on tefillin, or just simply to teach a person what is an Aleph and what is a base. Hagam as even though that he is even though that he happens to be a Kohen, he's a high priest. And what does a priest do? Well, a priest is not allowed to go into a graveyard. But nevertheless, and what's this got to do with anything? It says, I'll tell you what, Rishoyim, a person who was a sinner, they're called dead. Right? There's no other group in Judaism that welcomes evil people, evil Jews. I think I told you the story, but I'll tell it again. There was a very, very talented person. His name was what was his name? Gershon Ber Jacobson, and he wrote in newspapers, wrote editorials. Journalist. Oh, he was a journalist, very, very talented journalist, and he was very talented, and he knew all these other journalists. Now, a lot of journalists, I mean, we can know from the media today, are very big leftists and communists, but he knew a lot of these people. Anyway, so he was very friendly with them, and they were friendly with him. And one day he convinced one of them to go to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Go by the Lubavitcher Rebbe for dollars or whatever. No, I don't. It was maybe to get a cup of Rebbe after some of the forbringans. He would give out a cup of wine to everybody. So anyway, this fellow went by, and as soon as he went by, the Rebbe said, "Oh, he heard his name. I read what you write. Your editorials. You're very good. You're very talented." He looked at the Rebbe and said, "You read what I write?" He said, "How could it be? I write exactly the opposite of what you." He didn't believe what the Rebbe said. You read what I write? I mean, first of all, who would waste his time? No, a religious person reading what he has. And not only that, he says, "I write exactly the opposite of what you believe." So the Rebbe said, if I would only read things that I agree with, as I would read very, very little. And the Rebbe talked to him for a few minutes. And when this person passed away, he's a well-known journalist. I don't know what his name was, though. I forgot. He passed away. He left a note, a letter after he died. And he said that, my life, this is a misquote, but it's in general the idea. I've done a lot of things in my life. He said, one of the most meaningful experiences I ever had was that I met with the Lubavitcher Rebbe. He awakened something inside of me, Judaism, and just please give him, it says, my greetings from hell. In other words, the idea of putting a little bit of Judaism even in a Jew which is considered to be dead. Is a zakin, a person that's old, kana chachma. Is the rabbi, he is a wise man. Is vigater a zakin machzir an aveda. It says a person, an honorable person, if he finds a wallet on the street, he doesn't have to return it. It's not his obligation to bend down and pick it up. And that's the law. He doesn't have to return it if he doesn't want to. Here's a big rabbi, he's an honorable person. What's he going into graveyard dealing with? He's like a Kohen, doesn't go into a graveyard. An honorable person doesn't return things. It's not his service, not what he has to do. As his dach, it's not according to his honorable state. Sein inyan is nor learning. He should just be learning Torah or leading his flock, the people who are interested in learning from him, etc. An honorable Jew doesn't have to deal with sinners and evil people that hate him. From deswegen, nevertheless, when Aaron left and Miriam departed, as is nit, there's no one else to do the job, as Moses took the job himself. And he himself went Of course, the Rebbe is talking about himself. And also talking about the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. He did the same thing, but the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe was very limited. I mean, he was paralyzed when he came to America, and most of his life was also in Russia. He couldn't spread anything. And Shtei Dach in Tanya, it says in the Tanya that every single Jew has a spark of Moses. So therefore, this is a teaching for every single Jew. Every single one, even though that every single one has his own nature and his own talents, in his own abilities and in learning Torah and doing the commandments. For deswegen, nevertheless, B'shas is felt when it's lacking the be'er, the well of water that in its merit, that it came in the merit of Miriam, and the clouds which protected everybody in the merit of Aaron. When this is lacking, it's lacking. Unes is farana sakana. There's a danger from right. Aaron's the clouds would protect the Jews from snakes and serpents. And now Aaron is gone, is done, month men by Yeder. Therefore, it is demanded from the Moses inside of each of every one of us. Irzal zen Karen. He has to turn himself around and bring back the well of water and the clouds. Nit trachendik, not thinking about, see, das is whether this is his thing or not. And even though that it's so, was for sich hat klal nit was zu more heaven. Nevertheless, don't have. Maybe it could be that he personally has nothing to worry about. He's protected from the snakes and the serpents, and right for room. But had them tselem Elokim. He's got. It says like Aaron in the 24th chapter of the Tanya. It says that Daniel in the lion's den was not a miracle, that the lions did eat him, because he was a tzaddik, and he had the form of image of man, true man, and so animals naturally are afraid of humans. So if a person really is a human, so the animals will leave him alone. So it says the same thing with us. It could be that I am a big tzaddik, and I have no worries about the world. The world is not going to have any effect on me, right? No bad will rule over me. But from this vegan, nevertheless, because there's another Jew, another that is yes in danger, unes can sein, and it could be that there is no Aaron or Miriam to save this other Jew. This is an inyan from pikuach nefesh. Therefore, somebody is drowning. Was oif pikuach nefesh is memechalo Shabbos, that if a person is in danger, his life is in danger, then you can defile Shabbos. You can push away learning Torah. In fact, the whole entire Torah, except for three things, but afilu by kama v'kama sfeikos, even if you have a lot of doubts, it says if there's on Shabbos, if there's a house that fell down and there's a doubt if there is any Jews underneath the rubble, big doubt. It could be that there's nobody there. And it could be that even if they are, that they were already crushed. They're already crushed. You have a doubt, you have 50 doubts, you have 1,000 doubts, you have to start moving. You can bring a car, whatever. There's no Shabbos. You can save the person's life. Even if the person is only going to live for another couple of minutes, there was zalim farnemen with them. You have to occupy yourself with this even on Shabbat. What's the Rebbe saying? The Jewish people are in danger. Every single Jew individually. A Jew has to be connected to his true identity. If not, he'll intermarry, he'll know who knows what. He'll get totally lost to Judaism. Therefore, says the Rebbe, the Jewish people are necessary for the world. That's what we said in the beginning. Every Jew is a special diamond. We have to save them. And the Jewish people, their lives are in danger. It says a person's life is in danger, you can push away the whole Torah. As es soll sein, you have to bring them also the manna, also the clouds, and also the water. You have to go and spread out Judaism everywhere. When a person puts himself on a side, doesn't think so much about, well, I can't do this, is not for me. Not to think about, see, das is sein Indian, maybe this is not my thing, or maybe it's not. And a person stops thinking about himself. Oh, I can't do that. I can't go and ask a Jew to put on tefillin. I can't learn Torah with somebody. Then not going to succeed. by means of that, you forget about this and just try to bring Jews closer to their Father in heaven. That their Eibishter Mekarev Zayin Im. Then God will also bring you closer to Him. Mitzayin b'nei bayis, you and your family. Given Zekala Mitzrach Lam, giving you everything you need. And you see, amazingly enough, that all these Chabad houses that are in these weird places in the world, where there's no kosher food and there's no education and there's no this, some of the children come out okay. It's quite amazing. The children come out okay. Really, really quite amazing. They have to be educated at home, and they have these classes on Zoom or whatever. It's been going on long before Zoom. There's been these classes, and the kids, what type of influence do they see? What type of friends they have? These terrible kids are in the neighborhoods. Who knows what they see? Nevertheless, amazingly, it comes out. But from Owls, the main thing is that every single Jew is a holy temple, and if we reveal that in every single Jew, then there will be a real holy temple. A mitzvah was oifen sibur davka, anashim v'nashim. Every person, a man, woman, was demel then vetzayin v'shachanti betocham. Then God's presence will be in each and every Jew, betoch kol echad v'echad Yisrael, inside of each and every one of the Jewish people. So what's the Rebbe saying? It all depends on us. Each one of us has a spark of Moses to bring back the clouds, that protect the Jews, to bring back the water that makes every Jew valuable, distributes to every single Jew, to bring back the faith and knowledge, which is Moses' job. That's the essence of Judaism. We have to go out, and one Jew makes another Jew. First commandment in the Torah, Pru Uravu, one Jew making another Jew. Yom Yom. Tomorrow, God willing, we'll learn the Devar Malchut. What happened? Here it is. Yeah. Yeah. All right. When a person does a commandment, so it says it evoked some sort of a surrounding aspect of God in a general way, has a general effect on the world. Take an example. Charity. When a person gives charity, this draws down a surrounding, all-encompassing light. Charity. In fact, in the Yerushalmi, the Talmud Yerushalmi, all the commandments are called charity. Therefore, it's appropriate to give a coin to charity before you do any commandment, especially prayer. This brings this new surrounding light into your personal life. But nevertheless, this type of the commandment of like giving charity. It says this makes a surrounding level of light, which is sort of relevant to us. But when you do the commandment of learning Torah, so this draws down a tremendously higher aspect of light of God, which the effect eventually is superior, is even more. In other words, when you do Torah, when you learn Torah, when you do a commandment, so it has a big effect on the world. You don't necessarily feel it or know it, but it does. And the effect that Torah has, even though it's more distant from us, but it's greater, and the effect is also greater. Have a good day with Mashiach now. 3:00, God willing, we're learning Chumash with Rashi. Shalom uvracha. Thank you for coming to class.